everyone, and welcome to Voices of Hope. I'm Ross Wilsie.
And I'm Mike Wade.
Each episode, we sit down to talk about what it means to live well, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and beyond.
We'll look at how wellness shapes us as individuals, families, communities, and even the wider world around us.
Through real stories and honest conversations, we'll explore what hope looks like and how it grows right here in the New River Valley.
Thanks for joining us. This is Voices of Hope.
Today's guest is me, Ross Wilsie. As you know, I'm one of the co-hosts of this podcast, and I work with the Community Wellness and Outreach team at New River Valley Community Services here in the New River Valley. I can't quite say that listening to me talk about myself as I edited this episode was my idea of a good time, but hey, I hope you enjoy learning a little bit about me as you listen. And who knows, maybe something from the episode will stick with you. I certainly hope that happens. Enjoy, and thanks for listening.
Okay, listeners, so welcome again to the Voices of Hope podcast. And at the time that we are recording this particular episode, we're about 9 months in now to the Voices of Hope podcast project that we started back in the fall of last year. And we've had some incredible guests and really wonderful conversations with those guests in the 9 months that we've been recording. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback. But Ross and I were talking about, kind of being at this point in our show. And we thought, well, let's take some time to maybe share a little bit more about ourselves. And so this is the first of 2 episodes where we're going to do just that. And I am really thrilled and honored to be able to help you learn a little bit more about my colleague, Ross Wilsie. Ross has been part of our team in Community Wellness and Outreach at NRVCS now for about 4 years. And he is an incredibly gifted individual, phenomenal work with everything that he does. He is primarily responsible for getting these podcast episodes polished, edited, and out for you as listeners to digest. It wouldn't happen without him. And there's just so much other stuff that he's added to our team since he joined, and he's been a great asset to not just our team, but our agency in general. So I can't say enough good things about him, and he also happens to be a really super nice guy. I'm making him blush a little bit, but it is what it is. Ross Wilsie is a fine man, and I'm happy to interview him today. So, wow. Hey, Ross, welcome.
Hey. Well, thanks, Mike. That was amazing. I appreciate all that you said there. So, thank you.
Well, it's all very much deserved. So we're going to dig in and start with some questions, and you're going to be in the hot seat for a little while.
Oh boy,
it won't hurt, I promise. So let's just start like we typically do with our guests, with you sharing some about your background, where you're from, your education, that kind of thing.
Sounds good. So I was born in Roanoke, Virginia. Grew up there, spent most of my younger years there. And yeah, I have a sister who's 3 years younger than I am. And my parents obviously are still married and live nearby. The last 3 years of high school I spent at a boarding school called Woodbury Forest School. That was, I could, probably spend a lot of time describing why I went there, but I won't do too much of that. But basically, I think I was having some struggles as far as, socially, right before going there, and my parents just saw a need. And so it really was a transformational time for me to go to that school and really turn some things around in a great way for me. So then in 1998, I started at Virginia Tech and found a really good community there, just some great friends, good community in a campus church I went to. And it's actually where I met my wife, Jennifer. I was a 5th year senior, so I was not in a rush to get out into the real world, but yeah, I met Jennifer there, and we bonded over music and photography, and we're married in 2006, and kind of just settled here in the New River Valley.
Yeah,
and music has always been kind of a big part of my life throughout, and still is. So.
Yeah, and I do want to maybe circle back around to the music part. In fact, we might even share a little bit of a behind the scenes secret with our listeners about the music for our podcast a little later on.
Yeah.
How about
Okay.
that?
That sounds good.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. So you mentioned Jen, your wife, and your husband as well as a very proud father to
Hmm.
two boys.
Oh yeah.
We've talked a lot about that just in our own conversations over the years, both being dads and that kind of thing. But tell us a little bit more about your sons, about the Wilsie crew.
All right. Yes, I am a proud father. I'll start with Jennifer, just sort of to give listeners an idea of who she is and just our whole family. So she's about 5 years younger than I am, which was an interesting dynamic while we were kind of dating in college. She was, yeah, it just made for some interesting times. She wanted to be more, I don't know, you just into the college stuff and having fun
Yeah.
with her friends who were 5 years younger than I was, and I was the banker. I was like the
Okay.
the weird boyfriend banker guy that no nobody understood. So because I worked at a bank anyway.
Okay.
But there's always been she just has a lot of energy and a joy
Uh
for
huh.
life that was what initially attracted me to her and still
Hmm.
does. And she's she's all about experiences, and just finding
Yeah.
new things to kind of squeeze every last bit of life out. So she's also a planner and in our family and in her work.
Uh
I rely on her very heavily when it comes to like the calendar and things like that. And she's an amazing mother. She gives so much of herself to her kids and is really big on giving them the tools that they need to make it in the real world someday, just
Yeah.
to be successful. Um, and then, so my boys, Jonah is my oldest, and he's 15. He's the one that made me a dad. He's amazing. They both are. Meeting him was a moment that, I still vividly remember because
Hmm.
it changed who I was. Nothing was the same after that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
he has always been very musical. Kindergarten, he came home and played on our little electric piano the school song, and we were like, "How did you do that? Where did you learn that?"
Wow.
He's like, "I don't know. We sing the song and I can play it." And we're like, "Okay, that's amazing."
Wow.
And
Yeah.
he's kind of an encourager. He brings people together. I see a lot of that in him. So fun kid. We go mountain biking together sometimes, which we did last night. It
Nice.
was great. Rainer is our youngest, and he's almost 12. He kind of came into the world very quickly, and he's kind of just always had that same energy about him. Uh, he's drawn to physical parts of the world, about life, and
Hmm.
he's always moving. Does gymnastics and recently started diving. So very physical. He's hilarious. He like comes up with these one-liners, very quick-witted. I don't know how. Like he's just smart in that way, and I don't know how he
Yeah.
does it. And he's also musical. He just started trumpet last year in school, and before that, he loved playing the xylophone and some of the other percussion instruments there at in elementary school. So really amazing
Very
kids.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, as you and I have spoken a lot about in the time that we've known each other, fatherhood is a big thing for both of us. But we both know that sometimes it doesn't always go the way that we hope that it might, and so we've talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly, so to speak.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself as a father?
Well, I love being a father. I definitely, at this point, can't imagine life without being a father,
Yeah.
obviously.
Right.
And having two boys specifically has been a lot more fun than I expected. I think originally I was hoping it would be, one girl, one boy, so I could get a little bit of
Yeah.
experience
Right. Yeah.
of each. But I don't know. Having two boys, there's something really fun about it. So That's
Yeah.
been great. Um, I feel like I just want my kids to be happy and have
Hmm.
everything,
Yeah.
which sounds great on the outside, but it can be a problem. Um, it gets me into trouble.
Yeah.
And part of that is just as I can struggle with like setting boundaries and
Hmm.
making sure that they're set up with discipline that helps them,
Yeah.
and that moves them in the right direction.
Right.
So that can be harder for me. It's been one of the hardest things as a dad.
Hmm.
And another thing is just patience. I always had thought before being a dad, had thought of myself as a very, very patient person, and realized I'm not really that as patient as I thought I was after
I
having
think a lot of
kids.
people might be surprised to learn that about you.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
but I mean, it really showed me some things about myself and
Yeah.
yeah, there's some things to work on there for patience. So
Yeah.
then just some of my favorite times being a dad are when we're just able to goof off and kind of laugh about
Hmm.
stupid things.
Yeah.
Like the stupidest things you can imagine, and we do it often. So uh, those are the times that I really light up
Yeah.
and think fondly back on. So
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, thanks for sharing that.
yeah,
I wanted to ask how you first got introduced to the world of behavioral health.
yeah. I was trying to like define that. There's not really a specific point, but I
Hmm.
think there's several things that kind of led up to that. So
Right.
in high school, I remember taking an AP psychology class, which I think was probably my favorite class of high school. It really just fascinated me,
Hmm.
um, and really just the brain, learning about the brain and how it works with even how little we know about it today, was just awesome. I loved it. So,
Right.
and then I had a position shortly after, right after college, where I worked at a wilderness program slash
Hmm.
school. It was a residential place for boys who had behavioral issues. And that was a very difficult job, but it showed me a lot about, or it introduced me, I think, to behavioral health in some ways, and
Hmm.
showed me that there was a huge need out there,
Right.
for children especially.
Hmm.
And then right before I started working here at NRVCS, I was a therapeutic day treatment counselor for a year at a local middle school, and that also showed me the huge need that we have, in serving our kids and trying to help them before, things get worse. So early intervention, that type of thing. And then just a little bit here and there with close family members who've walked through
Right.
some mental health struggles,
Uh huh.
and I've learned some there about the world of behavioral health. So yeah,
Sure. Yeah. You've been in NRVCS now for what is it, 15 years or so?
yes,
Okay. So let's talk about your time here at the agency so far and how you eventually arrived at the position you currently hold.
okay. Well, yes, I did start in 2011 and started as a trainer in the IT department. So I was training employees
Hmm.
internally. So then you and I had worked on a few projects.
Yeah.
I know you remember the Every Click You Make video that we did together, where we did a
Yes.
parody on Every Breath You Take, that song, and you
Right.
sang vocals on that song, and it was amazing. It was really good.
Well, you're very kind.
It was fun. It was fun. But then you asked me for some help with some bigger video projects
Hmm.
that eventually led to you asking me to be on the community wellness and outreach team.
Yeah.
And I enthusiastically said yes. So, I think just you and I had a lot of the same visions in the projects
Hmm.
we worked on. And it seemed like we were always saying, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I would have done, or that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking too.
Yep.
And so I think when you finally asked me to be on the team, I was like, yes, please. This sounds amazing. So I did. I joined in the fall of 2022. So yeah, I was 43 when I figured out what I wanted to do with my life. And that's fine. I'm happy about that. This is
Yeah.
really the job that I couldn't have told you was the perfect job for me, but now that I'm in it, that's how I feel. So I love it.
Yeah. Well, you've shared that with me before, and it's always great to hear that. And I am sometimes surprised by how much you and I are in sync when it comes to collaborating on, you know, graphic design or
Hmm.
wording of certain, things that we put out there for the public to consume.
Yeah.
And just kind of like our shared vision around the Hope campaign and this podcast. I feel like we're very much in step with one another, and that's really kind of rare and special
Hmm.
to have
Yeah.
that kind of professional relationship. So
Agreed.
I'm truly grateful for that.
Yeah. As am I.
Yeah. So wow, the guy that asked you to come on board was just a visionary. I mean,
I mean, seriously.
oh boy. So what experiences in the 4 years that you've been part of the community wellness and outreach team have been the most impactful for you on a both personal and professional level?
Um, so many of them have been impactful on me,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say just meeting the people I've gotten to meet
Yeah.
and hearing their stories. Um, in my previous role here, I got to meet a lot of people internally, but in this role, I've been able to meet people outside of the agency and
Mm-hmm.
people that I never would have met otherwise, and I love that. Um, the stories of recovery have been the most impactful on me, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've attended many of the recovery court graduations, as a lot of times I'll take photos and do video for that.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I haven't met the graduates who are graduating that day, every single time I get emotional. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
blown away by the success, just the amount of work that those folks put in and just how hopeful the whole thing is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the people that I've met in recovery, in my mind, are the strongest and most impressive people out there.
Mm-hmm.
And because if they can overcome something as alluring or insidious as addiction to substances,
Mm-hmm.
what other amazing things are possible? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's it, is just meeting the people I've gotten to meet in this position and hearing their stories. It's most
Yeah.
impactful.
Yeah. And you and I have been working with some of those folks for enough time now that we've been able to like firsthand witness their development and their
Hmm.
progression through their recovery and
Right.
go from being clients of our participants in the recovery court program to now being our coworkers
Yeah, I know.
at
That's amazing.
NRVCS and taking on leadership roles and really just thriving. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. And I think it speaks to just the value of our services and the impact that we truly can have on individuals and their families.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, just to see, even if it's not working for agency, just to hear the success stories. And so, yeah.
Yeah. And maybe with this next question, you just answered it, but I'll go ahead and ask it anyways. What's your favorite part of your job?
Yeah. I mean, it's related, obviously, but I think taking the stories that are so impactful to
Yeah.
me and getting to share them with the world or our community
Yeah.
through a video that we created or podcast episode or photos or social media post, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
um, I can't add anything to the substance of what they share,
Right.
but I mean, because that's already there, that's theirs to share, and
Mm-hmm.
but I think of what I do kind of as like adding a little sparkle or shine here and there, just kind of enhancing their story, the beauty of
Mm-hmm.
what they've already shared.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that's my favorite part.
And you really do. I mean, I will just say this for those of you who don't get to see some of the stuff that we do behind the scenes. I mean, Ross has a true gift for taking the essence of the conversation, whether it's a video that we plan to, a planned video interview, or just, extracting from events that we hold, that kind of thing. He has a real gift for kind of capturing the highlights, the primary points, or the most important things to know, and really drilling down to, again, the essence of what's being communicated. And hey, as communicators, we all know that getting to the point these days is really important, because
Yeah.
our attention spans are so incredibly short.
Right.
But it really is one of your unique talents, Ross.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is interesting. Whenever I'm getting into a project like that, a lot of times I'll start it and just look at the whole thing and be like, how am I even supposed to begin? There's just so much here. There's, maybe we asked questions in a way where it was a little bit here and there, and just trying to organize it maybe is daunting. But every time that happens, I get into it and I can start to see the story begin to sort of reveal itself, which is amazing. So that's my favorite part about that, is just getting into it step by step, watching it kind of come out, even though it was already there. It sort of reveals itself. It's kind of neat.
And I'll just go ahead and say this guy is also a perfectionist,
Yeah.
and he agonizes over details, and
true.
he is so conscientious about his work and how it's going to come across to the community. So you cannot appreciate the time that this guy puts into everything that he does. But
Well,
as
you.
his coworker, I certainly can appreciate that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned mountain biking earlier as one of the things that you do, but how else do you maintain your personal wellness, Ross?
Definitely just being outside is one of the big ones for me. So definitely mountain biking. We enjoy being out on the water or being at the beach. Water's fun. Sitting on our front porch really is just crucial for me. It's calming. I love it. And then exercise is a lot of times part of that, and I think it's important. But anytime I can incorporate that in, exercise into something that I'm already doing outside that I enjoy,
Right.
that's when it works best for me. So, hanging out with family and friends is a big one. Yes, I am an introvert, so that's difficult sometimes for me to prioritize. But being alone, so just to kind of flip that on the other side, I really have to be alone sometimes, and that could look like one of many different things. It could be reading, it could be just meditating, which I wish I did more of that, or just kind of sitting there, like if I'm on the porch, just being, listening to the sounds around me, or just being. So being alone is a big one.
Yeah, and I think that it sounds maybe a little strange to hear someone talk about the value of being by themselves and being isolated. I know that might sound a little strange for some folks, but I think it really does feed into the whole thing about mindfulness.
Yeah.
And about kind of like in engulfing yourself in that quiet space for a period of time where you can focus and kind of get in touch with yourself. And,
for sure.
Hit a reset in some ways.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Fellow introvert, we've talked about that several times here on the show.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about this too, but you are a guest on the show today technically, so I have to ask you this question. What does the word hope mean to you, Ross?
Yeah, well, as I was sort of preparing, I went back and looked up what I had said a couple of years ago when we did the 31 Days of Hope thing in May. And so the definition I gave you at that point, which I still agree with today, and I think I like it, is hope is something that begins to emerge when we're fully honest with ourselves and those around us, especially when that feels like the most difficult thing to do. And that has proven true for me in my life many times. There have been times in my life where I've been dishonest with myself and with the people I love. And those were times of very little hope. But when I started being honest, when I started, facing the things that I needed to face, and especially first with being honest with myself and making some important
Right.
changes in my life, um, I did begin to see hope kind of on a more regular basis
Yeah.
every day, at this point. So, I think hope kind of begins with honesty and recognizing when there's destruction or when there's harm being caused to others in your life. And then it leads to just the opposite of that, which is love in my mind. And I don't think hope implies a perfect life or that nothing will ever go wrong in your life, but it's really just a sense that I can always kind of take the next step that I need to take because I have love on my side, or whatever you want to call it. And that love can come in many different forms. It can be the people in my life or the circumstances. It could be a lot of different things. So,
Yeah. Well, that's a very open and transparent response, and I really appreciate you being so open about that.
oh yeah, of course.
As you and I were having a conversation the other day, I mean, sometimes it can be really hard to look at that person in the mirror.
Yes, it can.
And own up to your shortcomings, or maybe where you've goofed up along the way, or maybe, as you said, hurt those that you love the most. And
Right.
yeah, we're all probably bound to do that at some point in our lives.
Yeah, we're human.
We are. Yeah. So, anyways, great response, and I'm glad your
Thanks.
definition from a couple of years ago still holds up.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I remembered that we had done that, and I looked back and I was like, "Yep, that's pretty spot on for me." So
yeah. Hey, this is going back to the thing that I brought up earlier about the music.
Oh yeah.
for our podcast that we've been using since day one. But our listeners don't know the story behind that, so I was hoping maybe you might be willing to talk a little bit about how that all came about and who's responsible for it.
Well, I guess when we were talking about starting this podcast, I had in my mind that it would be really cool to write music or to have it be an original thing and not pull from some stock music somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, I think, I don't know if you just wholeheartedly agreed or if you said, I was kind of thinking the same thing, probably the latter, since that's what we usually do. But, but that's what happened. And then we got closer and closer to the release date on our first episode, and I still hadn't figured the music out yet, but it all came together, and I just sat down with my oldest son, Jonah, and I was like, all right, I need your help. And he graciously agreed to help me with this. But I was like, I don't know what it needs to sound like. I don't have a melody in mind. I don't have anything, but we just kind of played around with different things. And I had my violin out and he was on the piano, and we just, I don't know, we played around with some different sounds and melodies and came up with what you hear at the beginning and end of each episode. So I think it's me on violin, and it's hard to hear, but there's guitar and banjo, which I'm playing both of those. Jonah is on piano, which is one of the more prominent sounds that you'd hear.
Right.
And that might be, I think there was some mandolin. One of those instruments I remember cutting because it didn't really add to it, but some combination of all that is in the music.
I mean, I was so blown away when you first played that for me, and told me that was something that you and Jonah created. I mean, I just could not get over how impressive that was, and I think it's a beautiful piece of music. And I am so proud of the fact that is something that we have that was organically created specifically for our podcast. So,
well, thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, AI for the Voices of Hope podcast means actual instruments.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yes, it does. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it. And I really do appreciate Jonah for helping out with that. I mean, he didn't get paid to do that. So
yeah, no royalties at this point with this podcast.
None at all. Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate his help with that.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to share that. I mean, we've had it on our podcast for, since, like I said, since day one. So
Yeah.
time to give credit to the Wilsie men for making that possible.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. So we're wrapping up, but you know how this works, Ross.
Yep.
I got to ask if you've got any final words of wisdom to share with our listeners.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't consider myself a very wise person, but
Come on.
but the first thing that came to mind is just talking about community and how important it is for every single person that's listening.
Yeah.
And I'm talking
whether they
about
know it or not.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm talking about face to face in the flesh. Togetherness, being with other people. And I, again, say this as an introvert who values my alone time, maybe above literally everything else in my life. So if you find a hobby you enjoy, find a religious community to join, or Dungeons and Dragons group, I don't know, book club, some sort of fitness group, just join a group of people if you don't already have that. There's so many out there that already exist and welcome anyone to join them. So if you can't find something that really interests you, maybe start your own and put it out there. Maybe other people would be interested in joining you. Yeah. So, I think just sometimes that's the hardest part, is just taking a step, and that first step to join a group of people or to meet somebody new or whatever it is. But that's so important. It's just being with community, being in community.
Yeah, and we have, those are great words of wisdom. And I do feel like, particularly in this modern age with all the technology, we have lost some kind of like innate, very foundational ability to connect with other people.
Yeah.
In a meaningful way,
Yeah, and it's scary. It's very scary, for me at least, to see that.
Yeah, it is. Well, I didn't mean to pull us down with that last remark.
I know, right? No. No, but I just think it points back to community. I mean, if we can just get there, and even if it's just a little here and there, having that connection with other people is so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I know it's probably been a little uncomfortable for you, but it's been a lot of fun for me.
Well, thanks.
to throw these questions at you.
Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable, but I've had fun with it, and so I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, me too. And I know my turn is coming, so
Yep. You're next.
We'll get to that next time. But yeah, Ross, thanks again for being so open and so vulnerable, and sharing as much about your personal life as you have. I can tell you again, audience, that this guy is the real deal. He's truly one of the finest people that I've had the pleasure of knowing. So I hope you've enjoyed our conversation with Ross. And Ross, thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for listening to Voices of Hope.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, we'd love for you to rate and review the podcast and help us spread the word.
Voices of Hope is a production of New River Valley Community Services.
To learn more or listen to past episodes, visit nrvcs.org/podcast.
And remember, hope grows when we share it.
So keep the conversation going, and we'll talk to you next time on Voices of Hope.